Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take your stack of sources and give you just the core knowledge you need. Let's cut through the noise and get right to the signal.
Hey there.
Today, we are tackling the big one, the quest for artificial general intelligence, AGI. It's sort of the holy grail of AI, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And for the last few years, the dominant idea in the West, the US,
Yeah.
Europe, has been pretty straightforward. You get to AGI by scaling up large language models.
Right, just bigger and bigger models, more data, more compute. The idea is if you just feed GPT-5 or whatever comes next enough text, eventually real intelligence just emerges.
Exactly. But what's really fascinating, and what our sources today lay out, is this completely different story playing out in China.
A huge counter-narrative.
A huge one. They've officially pivoted. They're looking at LLMs alone and saying, that's not the most efficient path. It might even be a dead end.
So instead, they're pouring massive state resources into what they believe is the superior route, embodied AI, or EAI.
And it's more than just a different technical bet. It's a deep philosophical split on how intelligence is even created in the first place.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. To unpack China's all-in vision for EAI, we're going to look at the huge policy commitments, the real-world robots they're already building, and why they think this path is just fundamentally better than the disembodied LLMs we're so focused on.
So to really get it, we have to start with the basics, the definitions. Let's talk disembodied AI first. That's your LLMs.
ChatGPT, Gemini, all pure software.
Right. They just ingest unbelievable amounts of data, text, code, images, audio, all stuff that already exists.
And the sources have this great phrase for them. They call them abstractions of abstractions.
I love that phrase. It's perfect. They're
And-
derivative. They only know about reality through things we've already written down or photographed. It's not reality itself.
Which is what leads to their big limitations, right? Why they might not be the path to AGI. They hallucinate things.
They hallucinate, their reasoning can be pretty brittle, and they really struggle to grasp basic physical concepts like time and space.
Why do they hallucinate? What's the core problem?
They lack grounding.
Yeah.
I mean, the research is very clear on this. The symbols, the words they use, they are not grounded in experiences of the real world.
It's just predictive text. There's no sense of consequence.
Exactly. So then you have a contrast. Embodied AI. This is the big strategic shift in China.
Okay, so what is it?
Chinese researchers define it as an intelligent system that perceives and acts based on the physical body. So the intelligence isn't abstract. It's built up through constant interaction between the body, the AI brain, and the environment.
And that environment can be a real factory floor, or it can be a super detailed virtual simulation.
Precisely. It's like how we learn. You don't just read the word hot a billion times. You touch something hot once, and you learn the consequence. You get it.
And this approach is so ambitious because it's not just about one thing, it's a dual goal.
It is. They're not choosing between, practical economic benefits now and chasing AGI later. They see them as the same thing.
Inseparable.
The one entails the other. The strategy is built to do two things at once. First, enrich the nation. Integrate this physical AI into manufacturing, logistics, healthcare.
And the second goal.
To achieve an AGI that's just better, more robust, because it's grounded in the real world, and critically, it's more aligned with all of human intelligence.
So not just language, you're talking about social, emotional...
Social, emotional, and motivational intelligence, things that are almost impossible to learn if you don't have a body to interact with people.
Okay, let's make this concrete. EAI, sometimes called physical AI, what do these agents actually look like?
So in the Chinese context, embodiment is really broad. It covers physical robots, self-driving cars, but also virtual agents, as long as they're in a world with rules and physics.
Let's start with manufacturing. This is where that enriching the nation part really hits hard. This isn't just about the old robotic arms we've seen for decades.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We're talking about mobile, AI-enabled factory robots, and they're built for incredible flexibility. An agent can be working on building a heavy SUV, and then
It just switches tasks.
it immediately adapts its tools and processes to assemble, say, a light truck. No human reprogramming needed.
And the real breakthrough isn't just one robot being flexible, it's the whole network.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Each robot is constantly collecting this incredibly rich, real-time data. Haptic feedback, force sensors, visual checks, and it shares all of it with a central AI line director.
Creating a virtuous cycle. The whole factory learns and optimizes itself in real time.
Constantly. Now, beyond the factory, you have the more social stuff, like the Xiaolan SO2 humanoid robot.
Why are things like facial recognition and tracking emotions so important on the path to AGI?
Because that directly tackles the social intelligence problem. Xiaolan SO2 uses multimodal perception. It sees you, but it also tracks lip movements and body language to try and understand human emotion.
To get a sense of effect.
A rudimentary sense, yes, and it also remembers things.
Like,
It can memorize your face, your age, even your last known location in a building. It's building a physical, grounded memory tied to real people in real spaces.
which is a whole different ballgame than just remembering text from a database.
A completely different kind of memory. And then you have the biggest scale of all this large social simulator in Wuhan.
That sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It kind of is. It's a massive, formalized virtual environment. The idea is to simulate entire societies, to let these AI agents learn complex social dynamics and production optimization without the cost or risk of doing it in the real world.
They're running evolution and fast forward to get the best data.
Basically, yes.
Okay, so that's the what. Now for the why. Why is this whole approach supposedly better than just making a bigger LLM? The sources lay out 5 key advantages.
Right, and they really get to the heart of China's strategy. The first one is a direct shot at LLMs, reduced hallucination.
Because you can't argue with physics.
Exactly. When an agent has to operate under real-world constraints, it's just inherently less likely to make stuff up. You can't just say you moved a box. You actually have to move it. It's a natural truth filter.
Okay, that makes sense. Advantage 2 is social and emotional learning.
Yeah, I mean, an LLM can read every book ever written about negotiation. But an EAI agent actually experiences it. It reads the nonverbal cues, sees the consequences of its actions. That develops a much richer, more generalizable intelligence.
The third advantage tackles the data problem. LLMs need more and more data, and we might be running out.
For an EAI agent, the data source is, well, the universe. It's functionally limitless. Every single moment of interaction creates brand new, unique, grounded data, not just another copy of something from the internet.
And that leads right into the fourth point, this virtuous cycle, the feedback loop.
As the agent gets better at interacting with the world, it naturally finds more complex challenges. That creates even higher quality data, which makes the agent smarter, and the cycle just keeps expanding and accelerating.
Which brings us to number 5, the big one, accelerated AGI. How does having a body actually speed up the timeline?
Through the network. Think about it. If you have thousands of these agents all out there learning different things in real time, they don't have to stay in their own silos.
They can share what they learn.
Instantly. They can share their evolving code, their world models. One robot in Beijing learns something new, and 1,000 robots in Shanghai know it a second later. That collective learning is just massively faster than retraining a single isolated text model every few months.
And that idea of an accelerated cycle, that's not just a theory, it's the logic driving this incredible political mobilization. The speed of this policy shift is just astounding. It all really kicks off in 2023.
The coordination is classic. In May 2023, the Beijing government is the first to officially name embodied intelligence in its AGI innovation plans. And it wasn't buried. It was highlighted as exploring new paths.
That gives it political legitimacy. Then, just 2 months later, July 2023, the academic world jumps in.
Yes, at the World AI Conference. Turing Award laureate Yao Kizhi says flat out, embodied AGI is the next step of large language models. That's a huge signal from the absolute top of Chinese AI research.
Then by November 2023, it moves from theory to hardware. The MIT, the big industrial ministry, says we need to build a humanoid robot brain.
And then it has to be based on large AI models specifically for perception and control. So now the industrial sector is officially on board.
And then they build a roadmap. In October 2024, they issue national standards for grading EAI. This is huge.
It's massive because it puts everyone on the same page with the same metrics.
So what does that grading system look like?
It's a scale from G1 to G5. The early stages are simple tasks. G3 and G4 are about autonomy and more complex environments. But the real kicker is G5.
That's G5.
AGI. The final stage, G5, is officially defined in the national standard as artificial general intelligence. They are building a literal, measurable path with AGI as the destination.
Wow. And the final political stamp of approval comes in March 2025.
From Premier Li Qiang himself. Embodied intelligence gets included in the government work report. That means it's a national priority. The money and resources are going to flow.
And the money is staggering. The Beijing Action Plan from February 2025 sets these incredibly aggressive goals for just the next 2 years.
The numbers are real. develop over 100 key technologies, deploy 10,000 EAI robots out into the world to start learning, and build a 100 billion yuan industrial cluster,
All by 2027.
all by 2027.
Ugh.
And they're focused on the hard stuff, multimodal sensors, the central EAI brain model, and crucially, domestic high-performance chips to run it all.
This isn't just about building robots. The CAI, the Chinese Association for Artificial Intelligence, put out a white paper outlining 15 key areas. The scope is enormous.
It's a total intellectual commitment. I mean, it covers the basics like perception and building a world model. It covers interaction, so human-robot collaboration.
But then it gets into these really abstract AGI-focused ideas.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It prioritizes learning, like autonomous learning through physical action. And then you see the final category, and it's embodied consciousness and emotion.
They're not hiding their ambition.
Not at all. They are aiming for the full stack of human intelligence. And this isn't just a top-down political thing. The academic consensus is profound.
What are the top scientists saying?
Zheng Yaqin puts it very bluntly. He just says LLMs cannot truly understand the physical world.
And some are even more forceful.
Yeah, Tantini says EAI is the only way for the sustainable development of artificial intelligence. They see it as a mandatory next step.
And we're seeing this consensus turn into actual innovation hubs across the country. There's real geographic specialization happening.
Beijing is a great example. It's home to the National Innovation Center for EAI. You've got Xiaomi and UBTech there. People are already calling it the Whampoa Military Academy of Embodied Intelligence.
Because it's training the next generation of talent.
Exactly. And they've already produced this huge standardized data set called RoboMinder.
Why is a data set so important?
Because it creates cross-platform compatibility. If every agent, a robot, a simulation of car is built on the same data foundation, they can share knowledge way more easily.
Yeah.
It's all about that acceleration we talked about.
Okay, so that's Beijing. What about Shanghai? They're focused on 3 brain integration. That sounds complicated.
It's a core idea. They're trying to integrate 3 systems. The cerebellum, which is for fine motor control, the physical movement, then the cerebral component for high-level strategy and planning.
And the third brain?
The cloud brain. That's the network layer. It allows for swarm intelligence for a whole group of robots to learn and act together.
Meanwhile, Wuhan is doing the grunt work.
Wuhan is all about data collection. They're building China's largest embodied intelligent robot data collection center. You need a massive pipeline to handle all this new real-world data.
And the universities are all in. Our sources show this huge spike in academic papers on EAI starting in early 2023. 8 top universities are planning to offer EAI as a major.
And you even see weird players, like China Unicom, a state telecom company, is a top academic contributor.
Why a telecom company?
Because they're upgrading their 5G networks, specifically to provide the high bandwidth and low latency. These EAI agents need to talk to the cloud brain in real time. The entire national infrastructure is being retooled for this.
And we're already seeing the products. Shanghai Center released something called MindLong GPT.
Right. It's the world's first generative large model for humanoid robot motion. You can give it a command text, voice, visual, and it generates high-fidelity, natural-looking physical movements for the robot.
Which brings us back to that ultimate goal, swarm intelligence. A company called UBTech is already using a network called BrainNet.
And BrainNet is the theory put into practice. It allows their humanoid robots to share what they learn instantly. Right. One robot figures out a new way to use a tool in Beijing.
And thousands of others know how to do it a second later.
Exactly. That's the accelerated learning in action.
Okay, so let's put this all together. What is the single biggest takeaway from all this for the rest of the world?
The core finding is that China has completely rejected the false choice between practical applications now and AGI later.
The one entails the other.
The one entails the other. They believe the fastest way to get to AGI is by deploying these practical embodied agents into the economy.
Which is such a stark contrast to the debate in the US and Europe, which is still so focused on just scaling bigger text models or arguing about the risks of LLMs.
It's like they're playing a different game entirely. And the CSAT report suggests this requires a new response. First, we just need to do way more monitoring of not just their software, but their hardware and their standardization efforts.
And second, we have to actually benchmark their claims.
Critically, especially their ability to transfer learning from a clean simulation to the messy real world. We have to avoid being led down blind alleys by impressive-looking demos.
And the third point is maybe the biggest. If AGI is the goal, we have to start thinking much more broadly than just adding more parameters to a transformer model.
I think that's the bottom line. China's EAI push, with its incredible resources, political unity, and academic consensus, is a fundamentally different and maybe more comprehensive strategy for getting to AGI. They're
Yep.
trying to build intelligence that's grounded in reality from day one.
It's not just a tech race, it's a race to a completely different definition of what intelligence even is.
Well said.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. If these EAI agents are out there constantly learning from the physical world, and if they're instantly sharing every new piece of evolving code with a collective swarm intelligence like BrainNet,
And their data intake isn't limited by the internet, but by the complexity of the entire physical universe.
how does that rapid, shared, grounded learning fundamentally change the timeline for AGI?
And maybe more importantly, what does a superintelligence even look like? If its entire understanding of reality is built on action and consequence, not just on reading our words, that's something to mull over.
Thank you for diving deep with us.